I'll see if I can get your thoughts on the game.
I hate this team. I was born into this, and I'm not gonna ever. I'm always a Jets fan, but like, I hate this team.
Yo, mofos, what's up? Here we are, everybody. It is Tuesday, YouTube Live. My man's here in the bomber jacket.
Yep.
I feel bad, right? I do feel bad. I feel like actually I'm a little high. I'm going to go down just a little bit on my seat there. There we go. Not actually high, or actually I am high on my chair, but not what you all think it might be.
Friday evening.
Not Friday in the barn high, right? Exactly right. Now, I feel bad. That is hilarious clip.
So funny.
Producer Matt Casey said it last night. We saw it. You have those same feelings there, buddy?
Man. Yeah, I really liked when he said, like, I was born into it.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving, but I hate this.
I know.
That's exactly how
it's like
it is.
There was like a point there where he was like a little bit like, wait, I kind of want to leave this, but wait, hold on. I mean, my dad taught me to stay loyal. I'm going to stay with it, right? But that's about
the problem for so many of us.
I know.
Is that, like, you can't. This is what you've chosen, or it's been chosen for you.
Right.
And there's no way out, and you just have to ride it out in a situation that you have no control over.
I know.
Zero control.
It's interesting topic, too, because I sometimes, of course, I was kind of forced to be a Giant fan, but for some different reasons there. I do wonder, like, if I grew up in a different scenario and my dad was just Joe Schmo, and he was a Jets fan or whatever, would I have stayed with a team like the Jets if I was in that type of scenario? Because I don't know. I really don't know.
So my answer for that is I grew up raised a Jets and Mets fan.
Right.
And my dad didn't push me into the Knicks. And I always stayed with the Knicks.
Okay.
And that was as bad can get for a long time.
Right.
So I guess I just like enjoy the misery at that point.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I mean.
He's never apologized, your dad.
No. Like, this is.
See.
But it's different for me. Like, when I grew up watching the Jets, I was born in 91. So when I was growing up, like, the Jets weren't this miserable franchise.
No, I know. That's
like,
right.
98, they were close.
That's
early
right.
2000s,
that's a big deal, a big part of it.
In the early 2000s, they were highly competitive.
Right.
And then when I was in high school and then going in freshman year of college, they had the back-to-back AFC title games. So their misery for me has been as an adult.
Yeah, right.
And once you're an adult, it's different.
You can handle it a little bit better.
You absolutely can.
Right.
My question is, and I was talking to James Kaminsky about this, who works with you guys
Jet
on
fans,
FNIA. It's like, what do you do with your kids?
Yeah.
Like, do you just sign them up for this?
Yeah.
I guess I don't really. I'm gonna try to push them.
I wonder. Yeah, I hear you. I wonder what I would, because, like, of course, Giants. My dad was Yankees, who were in there in the area. The Yankees, Mr. Steinbrenner, the old boss, was very nice to my dad, and he's a Giants quarterback. So I got to go into the boss's suite a number of times as a kid, right? So that reeled me in. It was like,
sticks with you forever.
And they weren't that good at that time, right? I mean, this is Donnie Mattingly and all that. It wasn't that great, but I understood the history of the franchise and knew that. My dad also loved Patrick Ewing and Pat Riley and the Knicks. Loved them. I mean, loved them. He was friends with some of those guys on those basketball teams, right? And yet he couldn't push me to that one.
Yeah.
Well, because the Michael Jordan factor and how much I was in love with him as a 10-year-old, 9-year-old kid, it was just like, I like the Knicks, I respect it, but man, Michael Jordan's the greatest thing I've ever seen, so I can't jump on that one. So that's why I'm not sure how I'd react if I got stuck in Jets fandom as a young kid.
That's what's fascinating.
Right,
like, I live in New York, and I say all the time to people, and not that I can't believe it, but when I see kids riding around their bikes, like where I live, it's Josh Allen jerseys.
Oh, there's a lot.
And I'm sure in about a year or two, it'll be Jackson Dart jerseys.
Yeah,
but
right.
Kids that are raised Giant fans are like they're Giant fans.
Usually.
But the kids that just, this era that they root for players, it's Josh Allen in the Northeast.
Definitely.
And I can't even sit here and be like, that's ridiculous. Like, he's awesome, and it stinks that's the way it is.
And he's in New York.
And he's in New York.
Kinda.
But like, it's a player's era, and like you said, that was it for you with Michael Jordan, and that's how it is. Like, they earn that.
No, I hear that.
So,
I still go to my son's events and things like that, and you still see a ton of Mahomes jerseys around, too.
Of course.
So your point there. So
Lamar Jackson.
You're right.
Like,
I think with the age of Instagram, fantasy football, all of that's definitely led people following players maybe more than teams.
100%, man. So we got plenty to do today.
got plenty.
We had to start with that video, though.
Yeah, that was great.
It was so authentic that it was very funny.
It was.
But we had we're going to get to Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
We have the doubleheader to recap.
Yep.
But we do, just to kind of stick with the Jets here, which I know seems ridiculous, but it seems like Aaron Glenn's going to move forward to naming Tyrod Taylor the Jets starting quarterback. And whenever there's a quarterback decision, Chris, I always love getting your thoughts on just the why, really.
Yeah.
Because with the Jets, it feels like Glenn didn't want to do this for so long. But is it a situation to you that it's, hey, we need to actually evaluate some other aspects of this roster? And with Justin Fields, we haven't been able to do that for a couple weeks
I
now.
think there's that aspect. I think you've gotten to a point here now where the coaches have gone through enough and had enough games here to go, wait, we haven't really seen the progress we were expecting at this point from Fields. We're not seeing any silver lining and anything positive we can do going forward. And, oh, crap. We're 0-7, and I'm starting to feel the heat of, like, we got to win a football game because it's all starting to go the wrong direction. All the conversations on talk radio you're having with your friends, everybody, words of, is Aaron Glenn going to be a one-and-done type of guy? All that stuff is starting to filter up here.
It's boiling up.
It is. It's boiling up. So I think with all of that, he realizes that. And then, like we've talked about for a number of weeks, Connor, I mean, damn, it's 2025. The rules are set for you to take advantage of things in the pass game, and the Jets can't even do that because they can't even get a average functioning passing system on their offense. And that's, to me, where Tyrod Taylor will bring that. And like we said on Monday, like if Tyrod Taylor had the week of practice last week and got the reps and got to play and feel a little bit, I have no doubt that he would have hit two or three of those throws that were big throws in the game. The interception in the end zone. He was a little late seeing things because he hasn't been able to see things or practice or play. Where I go, that game was there to be had if you started Tyrod Taylor. I sit here and go, you would have won the game. That's what I want to say if you started Tyrod Taylor. And I hopefully now they're at a point where it's okay. We're not making any progress with Justin Fields. Let's go with Tyrod Taylor. He definitely gives us a better chance in the drop back pass game.
What happened to Fields where it looked like things weren't perfect with the Steelers, but it was at least competent at times. And then even week one with the Jets against the Steelers, it was like, okay, there's a lot we could pull from this. And since then, it just feels like this is somebody that has no confidence right now. He's almost afraid to throw the football. He's taking sacks that aren't on the offensive line. He's just not letting it go.
Yeah.
Do you think one thing spiraled to the other, or it's kind of been more of the same?
I think it's that it's one thing going to another. I think, again, we go back to training camp and all the things we talked about there. The throwing wasn't good. I think they were hopeful that, hey, he'll continue to get better and we'll play better around him. I think they went into the year thinking they were going to be able to run the ball consistently on just about everybody. I think they went into the year going, wait, our defense isn't exactly like Detroit, but we got some playmakers and we should be able to create some turnovers. But yet, we get our first one 2 weeks ago. Right. So I think all of that, and now it's come to a point to go, wait, no, none of that stuff's quite working the right way. So now we really need production from the quarterback in the pass game. And I think that's where Tyrod comes in. And I think that's going to be a big thing going forward. See, like Pittsburgh got stuck in a spot where, maybe they wanted to bring him back, but it's because they knew they didn't want Russell Wilson. And Pittsburgh also was looking at, the landscape and going, whoa, there's not a lot of options out here.
No.
So, they were going, okay, we're Pittsburgh. We've been the masters of finagling how to win games without high quarterback play and do that. And I think they were a little bit in a spot where they were like, okay, maybe we bring him back. All right, maybe they do. But obviously, we see here, I mean, it's a good thing they didn't. Aaron Rodgers is a better option. And let's not forget, they took Justin Fields out last year because they felt like he was missing throws and opportunities at that point too.
Right.
It's just they went to Russell Wilson, who was hot for a few weeks. Great. But then you start to realize, oh, man, he's limited in stuff he can do as well. So, they were in a spot there. And, the Steelers wanted him, but I don't think they were like, oh, my gosh, we're going to get Justin Fields back. It was excitement. It was almost out of default, I guess is what I'm saying. And then the Jets kind of had this, and I don't know where it came from. We can get him here. We can fix him. You've heard me say it a million times. We'll be like Detroit was with Jared Goff. He's not going to be great at first, but because of our culture and the way we play, we won't make it all about the quarterback, and he'll grow consistently like Jared Goff did in Detroit. But the difference is Jared Goff is capable of hitting the bullseye on 20-yard throws when he's given time. He's capable of hitting the plays you're supposed to hit as a quarterback in the NFL, and that's where Justin Fields is not up to par in that department.
And I understand teams hoping they could be the next team to hit on a reclamation project.
Yeah.
But I think what people forget is before Baker Mayfield got to the Bucs, before Sam Darnold figured it out, like, they had second chances with the Panthers that didn't look so good. Like, it doesn't. There's not always that Cinderella story.
No.
Where it's a lot easier said than done.
Not a Cinderella story, but you could also still look at it, and I think just like Daniel Jones, and I think a lot of smart quarterback evaluators went and go, once they start to dig in the film and they got their clicker, they go, wait. When Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield or Daniel Jones have time and there's somebody open, they hit the throw.
Right.
They hit the throw. And then you could sit there and go back to Justin Fields and go, hey, he makes some good plays in Chicago, but, man, here's a throw. Ooh, he missed. Or, ooh, gosh, he didn't read this coverage the right way.
Yep.
Or, damn, it's year 4 in Chicago or 3, and they still got the training wheels on them and stuff like that. And I think all of those things – lend a lot of the league to go, what the hell are the Jets thinking? People were saying that a little bit about Pittsburgh too. Like, okay, go ahead, do your thing, Pittsburgh. If you think you can fix them, sure. Right. But we know for sure the Bears got rid of him because they felt like they had to keep the training wheels on him. And then if they had to get into a game where it was a throw-first mentality and they were down, that they couldn't do that with Justin Fields. And I think, we're finally seeing everybody realizing that's just the fact of the matter. And he's just not a good enough passer for the NFL to be a starting quarterback.
Yeah, so it's trending towards another old man bowl, probably Joe Flacco against Tyrod Taylor.
That's amazing.
Which could surprise, could be a lot of points, honestly, in that
really
game
could.
with the state of those teams.
Yeah, it could be. You're right, exactly right. It definitely could be a lot of points.
So,
and yeah, if you need a passing game to take advantage this week of Cincinnati, and that's why you go with Tyrod Taylor.
All right, let's get into Monday Night Football. We had the doubleheader, the late start, 10 p.m. Eastern time. The Seahawks beat the Texans for those that were up for this. Chris, this was a really weird game because I think the score doesn't tell the story of the game at all.
No.
The Texans offense comes back down to earth after 44 points and over 400 yards at Baltimore before their bye week.
Right.
They put up just 13 offensive points and 254 yards against Seattle. It really feels like the only reason the score was this way was some strange mistakes.
It's the defense.
It was the defense, of course.
Defense.
But even like Sam Darnold has played so well this year,
right.
and even he finally had a few where you're like, we haven't seen that yet from him. And it's going to happen. But yeah, this is a team that offensively, they look honestly, Chris, as like just a fan watching this game, they look broken to me. They don't. I can't tell you something that they do well on offense. Average.
Like we talked about last week, like the Texans' defense is good enough to almost win the game by itself, and they kept them in the game last night.
Yeah.
And I think Seattle, you can look at it and certainly question some of their calls maybe on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
Like you get down in the red zone. You're in a defensive game. This is a team that's struggling. We don't need to have the Cooper Kupp reverse throw.
No,
right?
And they hadn't stopped Darnold before
Exactly.
that.
You're just like, what are we, why? Like, I understand. And I think sometimes you go into a game and you're like, wait, they're really good. We might need some tricks to score. But during the game, you got to evaluate it and go, wait, we're actually moving the ball and doing what we want to do. So we don't need the tricks. That end of the game situation there where, like you're talking about, they're in control of the game. I don't know if you need to be as aggressive as they were, Sam Darnold and everything there. It's again, you're in a game where you just go, okay, third down, we call a throw, or okay, we want to throw the ball here, but we don't need to be aggressive with our thoughts. If he's wide open, throw it. If he's not, check it down. If we got to punt the ball, so what? They can't do anything on offense. It's a pitiful offense to what you're saying. It's pitiful. I don't know what they're trying to do. I really don't. And I feel bad for C.J. Stroud because he's not the kind of guy that's like Josh Allen or Mahomes or even Jaden Daniels where when things are really bad and break down, he can extend plays and he needs a little system and protection.
Right.
And when he has that, he can be surgical, as we've seen. He's still one of the best passers in the sport to me. But when you can't run the ball, and they can't run it at all.
Nothing.
And now in the pass game, there's only one guy to be really scared of. Everybody else is kind of young and inexperienced. And then I think you couple that along with, wait, I'm not really exactly sure what they're trying to do on the offensive side of the ball. Like, I look at what they're doing offensively right now, and I think they wanted to be more like New England Patriots, Tom Brady, drop back pass. We're going to be surgical in the pass game and let C.J. Stroud operate like that. But it's just not creative enough. When I watch what they do on the offensive side, and you saw replays last night, you go, whoa, Seattle's all over that. I mean, there's nothing there to it. There's not enough motion, deception, right? Creativity in the route and the duration between everybody. So that's the first thing. And then I feel like they go, wait, okay, our New England part of our offense isn't working. Now let's go underneath the center and do Sean McVay offense. Let's do that because he was with the Rams, right?
Right.
Nick Caley. So then you sit there and go, okay, they'll do that. But when you can't run the ball, and I don't think they're that creative with what they do off the play action pass and all that stuff too, it's all a double whammy. So, yeah, they're stuck in a spot where C.J. Stroud has to try to carry the offense with an underwhelming cast and an underwhelming system right now, and young guys that they're trying to bring along and probably being thrusted into some situations before, or more important situations than they really wanted to thrust them into, and you're seeing one of the poorer offenses in all of football.
Yeah, it feels like they can't play the way they want to play with this offensive line.
Nope.
And going to your point about Stroud, I mean, the numbers when kept clean versus when under pressure are just, it's jarring.
Yeah.
Like when he's been pressured this year, he's averaging 4.4 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
But when he's kept clean, he's averaging almost 8 yards per attempt. He's completing over 72% of his passes. Like, he's a very effective, a little bit above average quarterback when he's given a chance. It's actually certainly above average when given a chance.
I think so.
But he's, I mean, he has pressured Chris almost 36% of his dropbacks.
It's protection schematically, it's protection physically. So it's like both. It's like they get exposed at times with the scheme, and then other times they just get beat man-to-man when you go, wait, the scheme actually picked everybody up, but, to what you're saying, the offensive line isn't good. And then I also think on top of this, all right, and this is why I picked the under in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. Well, I was asleep. I fell asleep, I think, at like maybe 20. What was it? Maybe 20 to 10, 12, somewhere in there.
I watched the second half as soon as I woke up today.
You did, yeah.
I just, from Saturday to Sunday, eventually, like, your body just quits on you.
No doubt. I fell asleep with the TV on 20 to 12, and my wife woke me up at like 2 in the morning, and she's like, wait, are you still watching the game? And I was like, no,
I was trying to.
I was like, I think it's over. Like, I don't even know. But yeah, watching it back this morning too, and going through the rest of the football game, I mean, the Seattle D is just going like this. Like, watch out for the Seattle D. That's the other aspect I look at it. So not only poor offense and predictable and not creative and not executing and blocking, but then it's another team that's going like, hey, whoa, we're getting damn good. We're understanding the Mike McDonald defense, and we're starting to feel it a little bit. And I think with all that, that's why you look at the game and go, man, that was an ugly football game for Houston, and the offense is certainly a big-time work in progress.
And going back to when you're one-dimensional, Woody Marks had 10 carries in this game. How many yards do you think he got before contact?
Gosh, I'm negative. Zero.
Exactly zero.
Right.
That's.
Right. I was thinking of plays. I'm going, damn, I feel like he got hit like behind the line of scrimmage.
When it all averaged out,
right
it came
there.
to exactly zero.
That's incredible.
So, and even on Nick Chubb's 5 carries, he had 0.8 yards before contact per attempt.
Right.
So
that's
like
not going to get it done.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care who's
there.
running back.
No,
it doesn't matter. That's exactly right. They got a lot of issues there, and they're going to have to continue to play through their defense. That's what it's going to be, because you see their defense. They're unreal. I mean, they really are. You're sitting there watching the defensive touchdown this morning, right, and the sack. I'm going, oh man, how are they going to score here? Like, what's good? What's the offense do to score? And then I'm watching the game going, oh, gosh, that's how they're going to score. Holy crap. I mean, that's where you almost got to be careful and almost play a conservative style of football when you're playing the Houston Texans defense, because if you take chances in the wrong situations, they just got guys that you just go, holy crap, they're going to make the play, so you better watch out. And between Will Anderson and Hunter and Stingley and all of that, you just go, man, they got some guys that are some big-time difference makers.
So a brutal night for the Texans offense. On the Seahawks side of things, by the way, and we're going to have a really good segment later where we'll probably talk more Will Anderson, our foundational defenders. We're going to see who you'd want to build a defense around.
Right.
So we'll have more on the Texans defense, even in a tough loss.
I mean, the game is like to turn the ball over 4 times and then dominate the game. That is like astounding. I hope everybody realizes that. Like, we turned it over 4 times and really should have blown them out still. But their defense still made a few other plays to kind of help them stay in it in that way too. And that's amazing. That tells you how bad the Texans' offense is. Yeah. That's what I was trying to get to.
It never
because
felt
you do that.
interesting.
Right. No, honestly. It never felt
like it was
an
exciting game because of the big plays, but the actual Are the Texans gonna actually like close in on the score? No, it never felt close.
No, it never did. You never felt systematically they were going to be able to go. It was all about, wait, can they make some crazy play and still stay in this or make the game competitive here? That's all it really was about. And, of course, they made a few of them, but not enough.
Another monster week for Jackson Smith-Njigba, the fifth 100-yard receiving game. He has just been unbelievable, as we see this one from John Breach. There were 2 teams in Week 7 that had 4 or more turnovers, under 200 yards passing, and converted less than 15% on third down. The Dolphins were one. They lost 31-6. The Seahawks were the other one. They won 27-19 once again in a game we didn't think felt close. NFL teams are 1-40 in that situation since 2001.
That's
so this was actually a massive outlier game.
Yeah,
which makes it more, in your word, as standing that it felt this way.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It could have been really bad.
It could have been really bad, no doubt about that. And I'll say too, with Seattle, I still, I know they made some mistakes last night, but man, I like where their offense is going and how it looks. I do. I wish they could run the ball a little bit better, but at least they stay patient with it. And I just think Sam Darnold looks so comfortable.
Yes.
And Jigba's special. Cooper Kupp's going to add a little bit here and there. Right? Arroyo, we're seeing, is like going to be a legit tight end and a real threat, I think, for their offense going forward.
Yeah.
He was loved in the draft process by a lot of teams in the NFL. All the teams that wanted the 49ers, the Rams, the Seahawks, teams that look for tight ends that also can run block. Arroyo was looked at as ooh, whoa, and people are sleeping on him in the process, right? And you're seeing that they're going to make him a big part of that offense as we go forward.
I think if he didn't have injuries in college, he would have been a first-round
pick. I probably would second that. Definitely a top 40 pick or something in that range.
Not a lot of guys that size can open up and run like that. And he has the demeanor in the run game.
He doesn't. It's not perfect, but he wants to bring it and dominate you. Exactly right. And that's usually if you just have that, teams are like, oh no, he can block. He can block because he wants to, and that's all it is. And we'll fix him up on everything else in that situation.
This was the fifth 100-yard receiving game of the season for Jackson Smith-Njigba. He is one shy of Steve Largent's franchise record. That's from 1979. JSN is on a unbelievable pace right now. It's not out of the range of outcomes that he gets to 2,000 yards.
I don't expect that, but you're right. It's going to be up there. I mean, he's going to challenge whoever it is
Calvin
as far
Johnson.
And going to be up there with the league lead as far as yards, yards at the end of the year as far as receiving yards. Yeah, he's going to be there because one, he's awesome. Two, they're an offense, again, like you see, this is rooted in McVay and Shanahan, where they feature guys. Just, you want to know why Puka catches 13 balls every week, right? Oh, whoever's healthy for the 49ers seems to always, right now it's McCaffrey, but we've seen, they know how to feature guys.
Kendrick Bourne was it for 2 weeks.
Exactly, right. They know how to feature the number one guy. They're big into that. They're big into, like we always talk about, one of our themes of the podcast. We're going to be elite at something. And we're elite at getting this guy the ball, and now it changes how you play the rest of our offense, and now we can feature other guys off of that. And I think that's what Jackson Smith-Njigba is doing for the Seattle Seahawks.
I think, ironically, my favorite moment of the game for him had nothing to do with him receiving. I loved when he got into the skirmish.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
He don't back down from anybody.
Because he got his helmet knocked off on a stiff arm, but it was really just grab the face mask.
They gave him the business a few times during the football game, and I think that was the moment where he was like, all right, I've had enough.
Yes,
he was doing that, and I'm like, stop fixing your headband or whatever, and get ready to defend yourself, because that's what he was doing at first. But yeah, he's got a little something to him for sure, Connor.
The other game that kicked off well before this, the Lions beat the Bucs 24-9. Chris, the story of this game was that the Lions secondary, which is held together by toothpicks and bubblegum right now, was the story. I mean, Baker looked as vulnerable as we've seen him all year. Mm-hmm. He was missing throws, he wasn't comfortable. And it feels like schematically, this team looked really, really good with just bodies out there.
They did. And, first off, it just speaks to their team and Brad Holmes. And we're getting into, backup DBs, but you look at him and you go, wait, that guy's been a pretty good player for other teams before. Amik Robertson. Damn, Amik Robertson was freaking good on the Raiders, So they got a lot of guys like that where you go, wow, they've got incredible team building. That's where I think they're special. Their depth, their second and third teamers, you still go, hey, they're pretty good players. This is not that bad. And, fortunately for them, they're healthy up front. They're still big as hell up front on the defensive line, and you saw that the Tampa Bay O-line cannot push them around. And we know Tampa's O-line is not 100%, but that's an issue. And then I think the Detroit, especially on the defensive side of the ball, first off, their second level plays downhill all game long. That's where when it's run, it's just like, oh my God, their second level is at the line of scrimmage or in the back of the backfield, almost instantly all the time. So they bring the fight to you that way. And with what they do scheme-wise and that too, like, hey, going back and watching the Chiefs game last week, the Chiefs weren't as open as you think they were. Right. It just was like, man, Mahomes was on it. It was great decisions, quick throws, and all that. It was better than you expected. And then you get into this week, and what I saw, at least on TV, they're going to play man. We know that, right? And they play man in a way where they play percentages and route reading a little bit. It's almost like teams somehow play zones. So they do that. And then they also throw zones in there to mix it up. So when you go, oh, wait, we've gotten 2 or 3 man plays the last few times we've been in passing situations. Then they perfectly are good to go, oh, no, we're not going to give it to you again. We know we gave it to you 2 or 3 times in a row, and now you're going to call something to gash it. We're going to call something else. So they're good at mixing it up that way. But yes, they play tendencies, and this to me is a big part. And this is something to me I think Tampa needs to kind of reevaluate. Tampa gets in too many formations where all the eligibles are on one side of the field. And that's good in some ways. I don't mind it.
Right.
But when you overdo it, right, teams can start to find tendencies of like, wait, if it's 1 tight end to the left and 3 receivers to the right, usually there's 1 guy you can read and you go, well, we know what the other 2 guys are going to do off of that, right? And that's when you play and put all your eligibles on one side like that, you can play man in those situations, and they go, wait, we want you to play man here. We're going to have somebody, a safety, protecting you if they run this little route here to do it. But overplay, like we think once the inside of the 3 receivers goes to the flat, the other 2 receivers are going to go on some sort of out route too, right? So overplay that. And that's where I think Detroit is really good. So they can play man-to-man, and they can teach it almost like zones and tendencies and go, hey, we're playing man-to-man here. We teach you all week. When they do this, like you're looking at the play like this right now. See what I mean? So they have a good feel for how they're being attacked going into the game, and they come up with a game plan to go, yeah, it's man-to-man, but we feel like we know the routes you're going to run, and we've coached our guys off of that, and where we're a little vulnerable, we'll have 1 guy, a free man, just kind of sitting there to go, hey, quarterback, you can't just throw it there. He's
exactly
there.
What they did.
Right?
And it was on 3rd downs.
So that's what they do. And you saw my text a few times during the game where I felt like they showed the sky cam, and they showed it, and I went, look, they're playing man. They're expecting out-breaking routes by everybody. So the DBs are all playing outside leverage or whatever else. And then they would have a linebacker spying, but not really spying because they're worried about Baker Mayfield running, spying because they're going, wait, we're playing a man defense where we're expecting outside routes, but if they run inside, 1 guy runs inside, we got to have somebody there.
Yep.
And they played spy on Baker Mayfield where they just played read his eyes, and he's going to look outside. He might have 1 guy coming over the middle, and that's where we want you to read his eyes and get your hands up as a linebacker. Remember early in the game, I texted you, I said, they're spying him just to bat the ball down.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
Disrupt his passing
Disrupt the lane. They go, wait, there's going to maybe give me 1 guy that comes through this area. We got to have somebody there. And that's to me where you go, hey, Kelvin Shepard, D coordinator, ooh, I like what you're doing. I like the way he coaches that defense. And when they're healthy, they're going to be scary good.
So what I love about the point you made is what they did was with those doubles on 3rd downs when Mike Evans came out of the game.
Yeah, right.
They were using that safety against Ibuka. So they had man coverage up front against Ibuka, and then as soon as he ran a deeper out, safety
they
was
had
on.
somebody over
And
there.
Baker tried to force it, but you can't throw a perfect ball in that situation.
No, right.
And
they'll cheat, and they'll take chances to where you'll go, wait, this is, they're playing man-to-man. They have a single safety in the defense, and they'll tell that single safety, hey, if they get in this formation and you see this, go ahead and jump one side of the field and help this guy out, right? And that's what they do. So, again, I think it goes back to their aggressiveness, their coaching style, they're creative, they're well thought out. The way they prepare during the week sets them up to really play tendencies of an offense. And that was just something that jumped out. So now you control the run game, and then, okay, we're all over their pass game a little bit, and I think that's why you saw an underwhelming performance from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last
And on
night.
offense, they did what they do. They want to establish the run. Now, they don't always hit big plays like a 78-yard touchdown run.
Right.
But it goes back to our combo we had a couple weeks ago, Chris, where you were going over the players that, like, can and can't break one away. And Jahmyr Gibbs, there's a reason he's as regarded as he is when you can kill an angle of a safety.
Exactly. I know they want to give the ball to Montgomery, and they came into the game this week saying we want to give him the ball more. But at the same time, it's scary because you go, wait, when we give this guy touches, it's like 1 out of every 4 touch.
Right.
It's like, watch out, he might go to the house. He's one of the most explosive people in football. So you couple that, then along with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's explosive as hell, and then you got a Jameson Williams who's scary too, and defense has always got to respect him taking the top off the defense. And then it's like, oh, wait, so we worried about all that. And then they got these intermediate guys where Amon-Ra's also an intermediate guy, and Laporta's in the intermediate passing game, and they know how to use Gibbs in the passing game, and you just go, holy crap, what do we defend?
Right.
And that's where they're incredible that way. And this Tampa defense, yeah, they lit up big plays, and the numbers look a little crazy, but they actually did a really good job, I thought, for the situations they were in and just limiting. Like the first half was the Tampa offense couldn't do anything. Detroit was in one good situation after another. And it felt like on the verge of like, oh, man, they might make the play here to go score and put another one. And Tampa would come up with a play and kept the team in the game. I think Troy said it at one point because the numbers were crazy in the first half for the Detroit offense where he went, I know the stats look like this, but Tampa's defense is doing a great job. And I was like, they are. You're right. That's why you can't look at the stats. They were in some bad spots, but they hold down the fort long enough to let the offense get going, make a few plays, and all of a sudden we look up and we go, damn, it's 14-9. They're getting their ass whooped, and it's 14-9. Here we go. And then, of course, we know Detroit answers, and that's kind of the all she wrote after Gibbs had that 5-yard touchdown run to go up 21-9.
I guess if there's anything to nitpick with the Lions, everybody's kind of wondering what's going on with Jameson Williams.
Yeah, I know.
Here.
I know.
This is a funny comment from Mojal. It said, J-Mo has the best job. Wish I could make $80 million and not do anything. Do you think it's as simple as he's not doing anything, or is there still an effect of his presence that it opens?
I think his effect does not go on the stat sheet, and I also think if there's something maybe I've looked at to go, hey, John Morton's doing an amazing job. Yeah. So I'm not trying, he's doing amazing. But if there's something that I would go, it's not quite as good as last year, Ben Johnson is a master of finding 3 or 4 plays a game to go, wait, I got him here. They're doing this against us. Now I'm going to send Jameson deep on this play right here because I think we got him. I've got their tendencies or how they play this formation or this scheme or whatever, and having that right feel for when to take the shot to Jameson. And that, to me, is something they're missing right now. Doesn't look like they're game planning maybe as many shots going into the game. Like, I think Ben Johnson went into every game going, I got 8 or 10 plays where there's shot plays for Jameson. I'm not going to call them all. Right. I'm going to probably only call 3 or 4 of them, but I got them ready in case they play a certain style. And I got 1 or 2 that I'm calling no matter what because in my preparation, I know it's going to have a chance to be there, right? And I do think that's maybe missing in their offense a little bit right now as compared to last year.
Yeah, and to be fair to them, as Morton, who's gotten so much better since week 1.
Yes, right.
They're back to their roots of the 2-headed monster at running back.
Right.
Feeding Amon-Ra.
Right.
Going to the tight ends when they need to.
Exactly right.
Yeah, Jameson's probably we might need this in a playoff game.
Yeah, well, yes. Or as we go forward here, now the way they're playing and they're being so effective, teams are going to start playing them in a way where it's going to become a little bit more aggressive. They're going to go, man, we can't let Jahmyr Gibbs just run for 7 and Montgomery run for 4 or 5 every play. We can't let them throw a screen out here to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and now he runs for another 8 or 9 yards. And that's where it just, the time will come. The time will come. But I do think they need to do a little bit better job of finding ways. Like Ben Johnson was also good at giving him a reverse or stuff like that.
That's what surprises me.
That's where they got to find another little part in their play sheet to go, wait, these are Jameson's plays, and I got to get to a few of them every game.
The last note from this game, and it's an unfortunate one. Mike Evans is going to be out long-term with the broken collarbone. It's going to be the end of an 11-season streak of 1,000 yards. I think that's one of the most incredible things in this era of sports.
It's man, that hurt. You know, I love Mike Evans. I've been around him as a guy a few times in my life. He's awesome. You know I love the Bucs. They got a special place in my heart. I know how much they love him down there. And, yeah. That was unfortunate. I mean, that was brutal. At first, I was like, what is wrong with him?
Looked like he got knocked out.
He looked like he was knocked out, plus, like, totally uncomfortable. And he wasn't grabbing his shoulder.
Which,
you know, mostly people with a collarbone, they're usually like, they're grabbing that shoulder pad. Like, wait, something really hurts underneath there, right? I mean, he was woozy. Then he got up, and he still wasn't grabbing anything. So I was like, oh, yeah, he must have got knocked out. Like, that must have been that. But, yeah, unfortunate to see that. And, you know, they're gonna miss him, as we know, because he's one of those guys that can make a big play, or if he's covered, he can still catch the ball, like on that play there where he almost hauled it in.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we're back, the Packers win again, but they are still struggling again. Yeah. What's wrong with their offense? Simms film review right after this. He is back. Rockets, Thunder, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Warriors, Lakers for the late crowd.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Woo! Love that.
I'm just excited for the music.
Yep, the nostalgia.
Man, and then like turning on Channel 4, NBC New York, and being like, wait, there's a basketball game on a Tuesday night? I'm kind of pumped. And I am pumped to see Luka as the like bona fide new man is going to run through him in LA. How's LeBron going to handle that? I know LeBron's not playing tonight. I know there's some conspiracy theories out there that think he's doing it deliberately because it's the Luka show now.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. We'll see.
Boy.
But the NBA is back on NBC.
And that the Thunder are just, should just run through everyone this year.
I guess so. I know.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good warm-up to the Laker game.
Definitely.
I would say. I'm excited, man. And I'm excited for this. The film review, the Packers offense. This is a team that I think if you've been watching our show for the last couple of weeks, they've driven us nuts even when they win because the bar is different this year, Chris. Like, this is a Super Bowl contender.
It's like the Eagles. You go, wait, there's more potential here.
Yes.
We should
They're
be
too
better.
good.
Right.
Too talented is the word I would always go back to. Let's start with Jordan Love and just the You said when we did our live show, we do every Monday morning at 10, that it's almost like he's too aggressive.
Right.
It's just constant shot play. It feels like the 4th and 5 that he missed is maybe the biggest microcosm.
I think it's something they got to figure out with him a little bit here. One, and before we show this play, just to kind of, yes, they are aggressive. They want to throw the ball down the field. Anybody that knows, that listens to me and us and all that, I love that. But it doesn't mean we just do that and bang our head against the wall even when it's not working, right? So they're a little bit of like it's bombs or screens, and it's no intermediate pass game. There's nothing there. The short passing game is really not existent, right? When they want to throw it short, everybody goes short, which I don't love either, right? To me, a good offense, even when you want to throw it short, you have some people go down the field and you wire the quarterback to go, hey, we'd like to look downfield here, but if you get this coverage, be quick to get underneath and throw the ball there, right? That's what really good. Brady and New England were amazing that back in the day. People would go, how are they just Amendola and Wes Welker over the middle, 7 and 8 yards? But within doing that, it was Gronk was going downfield, and they had all these other concepts, and Brady went, I like that concept, but I've been taught by McDaniels and Belichick that if they play this defense, be quick to get it down to Amendola or Wes Welker or Edelman, right? So that is one thing for sure. And then, yes, he's got to learn to get off of the number one read on those big plays sometimes and also understand the situation at times and just go, wait, we're not playing all that great right now. I can't always look for the big play. Let's just keep get momentum going. Let me get a completion here, a completion there. And I think this play we're about to show here with the dots, to me, kind of just encapsulates all of this and what their issues right now and where Jordan Love can get better to be a more efficient passer, right? So here's the dots. You see this. This is 4th and 5, right? 4th and 5, okay? And I'm all for taking shots. You got Romeo Doubs down the field. And let me just say, like, he's there. He's open. I get it. I understand it. But at the same time, the play is called for Wicks, number 13, is the inside of the 3 receivers to your right, who's running the out route, right? Anybody watching? That's what the play is called for. They're calling that for right there. Now, this gets into the point I just said. You can call downfield passes, but also situations, coverage, whatever. You can make a decision, and sometimes you got to throw to the underneath guy. Here is a moment where I just go, listen, I know he's open. I get it. We almost hit it, but we didn't. And yet that's happening a lot with them right now. And I just would go, yeah, that's where we've seen it in Dallas. We've seen it in Cleveland. And you see it there where I go, one area Green Bay can be better and Jordan Love can be better. It's just understanding the big picture of the game a little bit and situational football. And that's where they've blown some games. They blew the Dallas game at the end of the first half, situational football. They blew the Cleveland Browns game at the end of the game, situational football, up 10-3, right? So that's where I just go, hey, I know you're aggressive. I love it. But let's just get the first down for the guy that was intended for the play here. And you got Budda Baker on Wicks, and Wicks is going to win that matchup. And he was open, and you're good enough to make that throw in your sleep all day long because you do it late in the game on a huge 4th and down to Tucker Kraft, who runs an out route to the left, and you make that throw there. You can do it. And that, to me, just is one example of a bigger thing going on right now in Green Bay a little bit here.
Do you think this is where they miss Jaden Reed maybe more than we expected?
I think so.
Because that's the first thought that comes comes to my mind.
I agree.
How good he is with the ball in his hands, but also how good he can be in those quick hitters.
He's the quick hitters in the intermediate pass game. He's their guy. He's their best receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, let's period, right? And yes, he's the guy that, when healthy, catches a lot of those 15, 20-yard plays that are in the middle of the field and all that, and they certainly don't have that. And I don't know, maybe they don't trust anybody in their offense right now that way, to be that guy, to read coverages the right way all the time, to run the routes that way. But I think with that, Jordan Love, calling a game too aggressive, right? Too many deep shots where I go, wait, it's deep shot, but you don't have to throw it deep. You don't have to wait for the guy you game plan that play for all day long, right? You know, at times, and I think Matt LaFleur needs to beat into his head a little bit more. Hey, yeah, we're calling this play downfield, and Matt LaFleur can do a better job, I think, of giving more options underneath to go, wait, okay, they covered it downfield, but we like this little concept we got underneath here, and get to it quicker when they play coverage like this, so he could wire Love better that way, and Love can be also better at realizing those situations. So that's a big one to me. And then their run game, of course, is not the same as what we've seen.
Yeah, you could see it in the statistical difference as well, going back to last year where the volume is the same. And running back carries, last year they were 4th, this year they're 6th. They haven't changed who they are.
No, now you can argue they're running the ball too much.
Yeah, it almost feels like a sledgehammer kind of mold right now.
Right.
As you see, the yards per game has gone from 6th to 16th. The yards per running back carry has gone from 9th to 26th.
Yep.
So that, to me, I mean, this could be personnel to a standpoint. I know their line has not been as good at times as people hope for, and they've kind of have some players that they juggle positions.
They have, right.
They play a lot of Tetris on the offensive line.
They do, exactly
which is credit to those guys that they have the versatility to do that. I don't know if they found the right home for Jordan Morgan, who they drafted early a couple of years ago.
He didn't start, and then he was in the game, and exactly.
Is he a tackle? Is he a guard?
Exactly. Well, to the point of what I think you're bringing up, I mean, good offensive lines don't do that. It's not Tetris. Good offensive lines are like, these are our 5. They've been together forever. They can read each other's minds with certain defenses and know what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. That's cohesiveness on the O-line is more important at that position than any other position in football. And then, yes, I think their interior O-line is not moving people off the ball at all in the run game. So I look at it. Like last year, I argued at one point that they were the best running team in football. You know, taking quarterback runs out of it. Jordan Love's not a runner. When you just go traditional between the tackles running game, I came on Football Night in America right in front of this screen last year and said, I think they got the best running game in the sport. It's not nearly that right now. And I think because early in the year they were trying to get it work and they were being patient with it, and it was more carries and not getting the results they want, I feel like the last 2 or 3 weeks they're not being patient enough with it at times now. Now they're like, well, we're not that good. We had a run or 2 that were successful, but then, man, we had one bad run. Let's throw it the next 7 plays, right? So I feel like they've kind of overcorrected in that department, at least to my eye of watching them, okay? And even watching this game on film. This was a game here where I went, I think I would have ran the ball with Josh Jacobs a little bit more. I think there was some stuff there to be had in certain moments. So, yeah, it's disappointing there. Then off of that, we talk about them being a aggressive down-the-field team, passing the ball, right, Connor? They've always been good with play action and being aggressive down the field, too. One thing I don't see as much of with them this year is when they run play action, it's too much token fake play action. And people out there might go, what do you mean by token fake play action? I mean, yeah, we go back and we act like we're going to hand the ball to the running back. Sure, we do that. But the O-line is right at kind of doing pass protection. And good defenses that are taught well at the second level, they see that and they don't buy on the run fake. That has no effect. Like if you watch the Colts, who are one of the best offenses in football, and we're going to break them down for tomorrow's pod and all that. Or, you know, you watch the Detroit Lions, who we just talked about a little bit. When they run play action pass, it looks exactly like their running game. Like exactly. Like, oh, we've gashed you with the backside guard pulling a few times. Now we're going to run a play where the backside guard is going to pull. I'm going to look exactly like I'm giving it to the running back, and I'm not going to give it to him, and we protect it up that way. That, to me, has such a greater effect than the token fake play action game. And that's another aspect that I feel like they're lacking in a little bit this year as compared to last year.
Yeah, and I mean, that definitely hurts for them because they're a team that when you want to take those shots, you would hope that the linebackers are biting on it.
Exactly right.
And you have more space in the field.
Exactly. That's how you get the linebacker and the safety to take some false steps. There are more times than not, yeah, sure, they're reading the running back and the quarterback. But a lot of times in first and second down football, linebackers and safeties at the second level are taught keys to look at. Like, if this guard does this or this guard does that, expect this to happen, right? So when they see stuff like that and they go, oh, wait, I see the quarterback is turning around to give the ball, but wait, my key, that the center or guard that my coach taught me to read, he's doing a slide protection step. They just turn and run. They go, wait, forget it. He's not running the ball here. This is a pass. Let me get back. And now nothing's open. And that's certainly, to me, something that they've heard on a little bit.
So we have another play on fourth down, the Tucker Kraft catch on the game-winning drive, which you could argue that it was an even riskier throw.
It was definitely tighter and riskier.
But it worked out.
Exactly.
So you get a lot of, no pun intended, love for that.
Yes, but you see here, I mean, this is the play of the game. And he sits in there and hangs. And really, like, he's obviously not wrong to throw that ball there. But it makes our point from before of, like, you can make that throw in your sleep with the coverage. Like, you should have thrown it to Wicks before instead of the 4th and 5 post down the football field. So, that was a big-time play. And usually with this type of play here in itself, too, like, you see Budda Baker in the middle of the field. See, he goes down to stop the guy right at the sticks there. And you see Dobbs open over in the middle of the field, too. This is another instance where I'd go, most times quarterbacks would get back to that backside in cut versus this defense right here. And this is a good thing here, but also an example of where I go, Jordan Love stays on the first read too long at times.
Oh, he sat on this one.
He sat on it.
He showed his eyes on the replay.
He never looks at anything else. And there's a few too many plays of that in Jordan Love's game right now where I go, come on, get off it. Come on, get off it. I know Coach told you this might be there all week, and this was a big-time play. But you see it, the safety's here, this guy's there. Get off it. Go to the next guy. And to me, he's just a step late with all of that right now.
All right, let's go inside the notebook. This is you make the most out of space in a page, Chris. You really do. The offense is just too much. Look for big play. No surgicality at all.
Yep.
Feels like, in general, screen or bomb.
Right.
Also, not enough legit play action where the line run blocks.
Right.
Pockets need more balanced formations.
Versus the pass. Like we just talked about with Tampa Bay. They're another team. Green Bay and Tampa Bay, too many formations, tight on the left, 3 receivers to the right, where the defense can figure out, wait, if one guy runs like this, we kind of know what everybody else is going to run, and you can kick the coverage over there. And see, what happens in those formations too many times is, like, too many guys all on one side of the field. Sometimes you can get one guy that can cover 2 people. Right. I mean, there's just limited stuff at times if the defense calls it the right way, where I think they miss out on that a little bit.
Yeah, so
then you see in the quick game, not everybody has to go short on the top right there. That to me is another thing. So it's like it's a bomb, it's a screen, and then when we throw a quick game, everybody runs quick. It's like, wait, it's 3rd and 5, and everybody ran a 6-yard route. It's like, no, come on, defenses are too good now. They're all over that type of stuff. To me, the really good offense go, wait, it's 3rd and 5 or whatever. Yeah, we're going to have one guy at 6 or 7, but we're going to stress out things behind it, too, to where people just can't collapse on that. And we're going to teach our quarterback to be aggressive with the mindset, but, hey, as soon as you see this coverage, get down to that guy because they didn't cover it or whatever else. And that is, to me, where the whole offense could be better. They go back into our theme of they are not elite at anything right now. It's a collection of plays, and we're trying to figure out what we're really good at, but they're not really good at anything. And I know that all great offenses have one thing, at least, that they can do at a really, really high level.
Well, it's interesting because of where LaFleur comes from, that this offense, and I think they're trying, but they don't run it through someone.
That's what's going on right now.
After the first 2 weeks, and then he got a little banged up, we were like, can you run it through Tucker Kraft? You drafted Matthew Golden in the first round. Maybe it's not fair to expect him to be that guy right now.
Right.
I mean, we love Jaden Reed, but he's hurt.
Right.
And I don't know if you ever run the offense.
No, it's a little bit that way. I know.
So,
but to me, at some point, they either got to find a concept or something that they go, wait, we're awesome at this, whatever it is, or it has to be a guy. See, last year, like 2 years ago when they went to the playoffs, their play action pass and their aggressive passing style caught everybody by surprise. Then I feel like we get into last year, and everybody was like, whoa, Green Bay throws it deep. And they got into, let's feature Josh Jacobs in the run game.
Yeah.
And that got them through with a below or just an average year from Jordan Love, who fought through injuries last year. This year, it's like they can't find either one right now. And they got to find something, to your point here, that they can hang their hat on.
Do you think sometimes it's almost a detriment to have so much depth at one position like wide receiver that's almost the same level? Like, when you look at that group of players, there's not one guy right now, maybe in the future it's Matthew Golden, where you go, well, he's so much better than everyone else, where you start to get a little role happy.
Yes. There was maybe a time in my life where I went, hey, it's kind of cool to have 3 or 4 receivers that are all pretty good and they all have a similar skill set, and the defense doesn't know what's coming from where and whoever. But as I've gotten older and more, I get into, no, have a guy.
The dude, yeah.
Have the dude. And then everybody else will start to look like dudes. Once you feed the dude the ball a lot, you'll start to go, oh, damn, that dude's pretty good too.
Yep.
Right? And that, to me, is where, I kind of favor that mentality more than anything. Again, which is surprising because LaFleur comes from the Shanahan-McVay school where they feature guys. And right now, they can't find a guy to feature. And maybe it is Tucker Kraft going forward. He might be their biggest mismatch on that side of the ball.
He definitely looks healthy again,
yeah, he
which
does.
is the most important
No doubt about
thing.
that.
All right, we're going to take our last break. When we're back, we're looking at which players you'd start a defense with, foundational defenders, right after this.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code CORNERBACK when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Let's take a look at the DraftKings Defensive Player of the Year odds right now, Chris. Micah Parsons is at the top of the board at plus 180. Aiden Hutchinson at plus 320. Nick Bonito at plus 450. Myles Garrett at plus 700 before things kind of open up here. Of course, I think Myles Garrett is that low because it does factor in how good the team is.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
So it's kind of a wide open race. I mean, the 3-sack day for Micah definitely makes him the favorite, understandably. But Aiden Hutchinson is playing out of his mind.
I mean, they're franchise cornerstones, right? I mean, that's what they are. 100% about that. I mean, they're game disruptors. And listen, a lot of these guys right here, this is a special list here. I mean, these are guys where we're going to have a little conversation about foundational pieces and all that. And I go, you could argue any one of these. I'm not saying they'd be your first pick, everybody here, but everybody here, you'd go, okay, if I was stuck with this guy to start my defense, this is not a bad one to start with here. So, yeah, I look at that, and this is a good conversation, but I'll just say right now, to me, and you know it, and you've heard me say it for quite some time, nobody's better than the guy at the top of the list. Nobody. The stats don't sell it all. What a offense has to do to stop Micah Parsons, the effect he has in the game. I mean, what I watched in Arizona this past weekend was insane. I don't even know what I want to hear it. I've waited for you. What are the pressures? I know the sacks. Because I sit here and look at that game and go, I think he had 20 pressures. And some of these plays, I'm going to go, I hope that was classified as a pressure, but I don't know if it is. But I'm just telling you, Jacoby Brissett felt it as a pressure and got the ball out of his hands because he was like, Micah's pushing the double team back, or he split the double team, or, man, it just feels like he got off the ball in an aggressive nature. Let me get the ball out of my hand in a hurry. So I would love to hear it from you.
He had 10 total pressures.
Okay, and I would seriously argue it's more. Whoever graded that, I'd go, let's sit down because I feel like this should have been a pressure here.
So his win rate was 41% of the time.
That's insane.
Which is just, if you have a pass rusher, for context, that's at like 25%, he's probably one of the better edge defenders in the NFL.
Yes, right.
He won 41% of the time.
41% of the time, with the offensive pass protection and the scheme almost always taking him into account. Right. With him being double-teamed a number of those times, without the double team, and then being chipped by a tailback a number of those times. The amount of disruption he creates when he's double-teamed or even chipped by a back is insane. And then what he does in the run game off of it is equally as impressive. He is amazing. So just so you know, I think he's the best defensive player in football, and he would definitely be my first pick to start a defensive franchise.
There's no argument from me.
Okay.
I think he's the runaway number one. Monday said I think he's the best fourth quarter player in the NFL if you just take away the quarterbacks because they have the ball every play, so it's not really fair to line him up against them. But I think that he is the best non-quarterback fourth quarter player in terms of closing games. Like, we're playing with a lead. The other team's in a drop back script. You either allocate extra attention to him, and that's not even enough most of the time, or you don't, and you're dead.
Right.
So he almost reminds me, for me, this one's close to my heart, is back when Rex Ryan had prime Revis.
Right.
It allowed Rex Ryan to play the numbers game differently than any defensive coach in football.
Right.
That's what Micah Parsons does, where the numbers game, it totally changes the numbers on the field.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best competitive advantage for any defensive play caller in the sport.
Agreed. That's what a really good defensive player does.
Yes.
And unfortunately, sometimes when you're on the D-line, people don't realize how much is being readjusted or organized compared to a Darrelle Revis, where it's just easy to see it and go, wait, he got that guy, and they're doing all this crazy stuff with the other guys over here. Yeah, it is. And now, within that, too, I think Green Bay, because he's so good, I think teams are playing them a little different way, too. Because I think they're being kind of attacked in the short passing game a little bit more because people are like, we can't block these guys forever. And Green Bay, I think at first was going, hey, let's play zones and make the quarterback hold the ball a hair second and our pass rush will get there. But now it's become teams are like, man, that pass rush is going to get there. They're playing zone. Let's just find a quick way to throw the ball 4 and 5 yards and do that. And Green Bay's going to have to find some other creative ways because their defense is still really good, don't get me wrong, but not as dominant as I think it could be. That's what my 2 cents would be. But, yeah, for me, so we're both in agreement there that Micah Parsons would be the first guy. Now, my number 2, and I don't think this is a surprise, is Jalen Carter. I'm taking Jalen Carter. I love Aiden Hutchinson. I love Myles Garrett. But anybody that's been listening to me, and Jalen Carter, I feel very similar almost to what I just said with Micah Parsons. When you watch a game, you just go, oh, my gosh. I mean, they have to worry about him every play. When they leave him man-to-man, it's like, I don't care who it is. You got an all-pro guard, the best guards in football. It's like, well, you have fun with that. I don't think your all-pro or your best guard in football can stop him one-on-one. So all of that, the disruption, everything, to me, the next guy, and that's rare because D tackles are not really thrown in this conversation a whole lot, but I think he's one of the rare ones you would do that for.
Yeah, he's special, and if you need any more proof in the pudding, We've seen them without him this year.
Exactly right.
Twice?
Yeah.
And we got ejected.
Right.
And then the other game that he was a surprise scratch on the MetLife
No
turf.
doubt. And it was a struggle.
And it was pretty obvious how different that team looks
no doubt.
without him.
Right. Right. Like, I mean, we see the interception the other day that Carson Wentz throws. Yeah. Jalen Hunt got a pick 6. The whole play is created by Jalen Carter. It's great that he caught the ball, Jalen Hunt, they got the pick 6. None of it happens unless Jalen Carter just absolutely dominates the right guard and Carson Wentz goes, oh shit, I got to throw it. And then he doesn't see the guy drop out into coverage, right? So that's where he's amazing there.
What would you rather have, the pure edge rusher or the force in the middle of that defensive tackle?
It depends who it is. I think, let's just say they both had 99 Madden ratings. Yeah. I'd probably go with the pass rusher still, right? But there's certain D tackles in history that you'd go, no, like, J.J. Watt, I'd take him, right? Or Warren Sapp in his prime, I'm taking him, certainly. Dexter Lawrence, I see his name on here. He'd be a guy that I would consider starting my defense around because he's better in the pass game, in the pass rush than people realize, and then he's immovable in the run game, right? So he would be a guy I would throw in there. But I think, not sure I'd make him third. I'd probably go Micah, Jalen Carter, Myles Garrett.
Garrett would probably be 2 for me.
Right, okay.
If not 3.
Yeah, okay.
Man,
yeah.
It's incredible what he does in that situation.
Right. Yeah, I hear you all the way there. Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt's another guy I certainly would throw in there. Again, now he's his age right now. Would you want to start it right now with his age? Yeah, I understand that's debatable.
I'd take Will Anderson over him.
Oh, because of age. Because of age. You're right. I would too. If it was because of age, I would definitely take Will Anderson over.
The trajectory is like
still
this.
going
With
up.
Watt, I would say more flatline,
Valid
which is
point.
fine. But
Valid point.
I think we'll get to the point, and I'd say give it a year, and that'll
flip. That'll flip.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm wrong here because after Myles Garrett, I would take Aiden Hutchinson. I think I would go there. I would go Aiden before I'd even go Will Anderson or T.J. Watt.
Yeah,
right?
I'd have both of them over Watt because you're starting your organization with them.
Yeah. So I think you're right about that all the way. I would go there. Now, other guys that you just throw in the mix, right? Max Crosby would be in that mix, certainly. Man, I feel like I hit all the names that
because a lot of these guys are just getting up there. Like Leonard Williams might be playing the best football of his career,
right? But you don't want to start a franchise
with Leonard Williams.
Right.
Same for Chris Jones.
Exactly right.
Danielle Hunter.
A lot of other good ones out there, but yeah, like Chris Jones is not who he is anymore. So where you want to do that. Man, I mean, there's a lot of good defensive players out there, but I think right now we're hitting the main ones. The interesting conversation to me is, right, like off-ball linebackers. Like Fred Warner is a guy that you would think about starting your defense or
it's him and then everyone else.
Right. I don't know if there's anybody out there right now. Is there another middle linebacker that you would put in that category of a Fred Warner, Derek Brooks, somebody that you could justify going, wait, we could start
so.
I don't think there is either. I'm looking, Bobby Wagner in his prime. I get it, right? Like that kind of guy. I'm not sure there is a guy out there right now that I look at the middle linebacker position other than Fred Warner that fits that mold. I mean, there's a lot of damn good ones. Don't get me wrong. Dre Greenlaw can be that, I think, if he's healthy and really able to stay on the field consistently. He's one that certainly jumps out to me. Azeez El-Shaair at times is also a guy, if he would just stop getting penalties and going crazy, he'd be another one I'd go, you could think about it. No doubt about it. Corner, is there anybody out there right now?
So this is what I wanted to go to. Yeah. You notice how long our combo just went, and we never brought up a corner.
Yeah.
I think it's a weird mix. I think, one, the NFL has changed this that a corner almost can't be this. The rules are against you.
The rules are against it. The offenses are too creative. They know how to hide receivers to where they get a guy who plays man a lot, and you go, well, you can't play man when he's in a bunch behind 2 other guys. It's hard to do that. You're exactly right. The rules and the receivers are freaky as ever.
Right. Like who can go out there anymore and be like, hey, go run around with Jamar Chase the whole game?
It's very rare.
I don't think I love Surtain. He can't do that.
No, not the whole game. No, you're right.
Sauce can't do it.
No, you got to pick
I love Christian Gonzalez. I don't even think he could do that.
No, I'm with you. I think the day of what we saw from Revis and Deion Sanders and Champ Bailey at point of his career, I think is one, they were extremely special. 2, I don't think there was many as freaky receivers in football as there. I mean, right now there's kind of a freak almost on every team. There used to not be that way when I was playing in the NFL. You'd play a team or two in 2 weeks in a row and go, well, they have some good receivers, but nobody you're scared of. Now you get into almost every good team and you go, well, they got a scary guy. Holy shit, they got a scary guy, right?
Right.
It's different that way. And in my day, and Deion Sanders' day, early Darrelle Revis' day, yeah, there definitely was not as many offenses with all these crazy formations and shifts and motions and what you do too. And I think all of that is why we sit here and go, yeah, I don't know if there's really a DB that you start a franchise with right now.
Do you think there's somebody really young, probably from the rookie class, that is on trajectory to find themselves in this combo? Like, are we there yet with Abdul Carter?
Ooh, I mean, would think about it. Yeah, he'd be down the line a little bit from the guys we talked about. But yeah, I think there's like a lot of guys like that. You know, like Jared Verse, I think, is close to the guys we've just mentioned right there. You know, again, like, I'd take him, but I don't know if he's the guy you put right there, like at the top of the list. And also I'd sit there and go, I mean, listen, he's really good, but I think he's the second best pass rusher on his team this year. I mean, Byron Young's been phenomenal. You watch the Rams defense and you go, damn, zero pops a lot lately, like a lot. So, you know, again, not to take it. Nick Benito's another guy that I think is probably in that conversation.
He's awesome.
Right there. Right, exactly. But not at the top of the list. I think we kind of hit all the important names there.
Yeah, we did. All right, that's it for us. We still have another pod this week. We're going to be deep diving Broncos-Giants, the Colts offense, which is just unbelievable to watch all the different things they're doing. And, of course, our look ahead to Week 8.
Yeah, we got it. You'll see us tomorrow. Wednesday pod. You know where to find us. Me and Connor Rogers, we're back at it. You the man, as always, for driving the ship. Everybody, subscribe, rate, review. You know where to find us. Thanks for tuning in to NBC Sports YouTube page. I hope you enjoyed it. I like the interaction. I really want the homies more questions, more involvement here. You got to be a little more loud and boisterous, all right? Please do that. But everybody be good. We'll see you tomorrow at Simms Unbuttoned. Peace out.